Once a month, Paula Pant, host of the Afford Anything podcast, answers voicemail questions the listeners send in. Here's one now.
Hi, Paula. I'm a 32-year-old working person in a government job, and I currently own a rental property that is 100% paid off that provides me $1,340 monthly. I also have an Airbnb on my property that is bringing in income. However, I do carry a mortgage on my house and about $160,000 in debt with that. No other debts, though. I have about $30,000 in the bank, and I'd like to invest it. I'm wondering if I should pay down my mortgage, put, say $25,000 into my current mortgage, or invest it into another new rental property, getting something in the local area of Orlando. It would be great if you could help me with this advice. I'm just kind of not really certain. I don't really want to do investing in the market or stocks. I really like real estate and taking care of the locals. So thanks for your help.
Awesome question. First of all, you're in a great position. No debt other than a $160,000 mortgage, and I assume it's a relatively low interest mortgage. That's a good spot to be in. So your question is functionally, wow, I have all these savings. What do I do with them? And that is an awesome position to be in. What do I do with all these savings? That's a good question to ask. First of all, I am going to go out on a limb here, and I'm going to assume that this $30,000 in savings that you're referencing is in addition to an emergency fund. If it's not, if this $30K is the alpha and the omega, the A to Z, then some of that should be an emergency fund. And for those of you, everybody listening, I'm sure, is familiar with what an emergency fund is. But long story short, it's money that you put aside in the event that some massive catastrophe happens. Let's say you lose your job and your roof starts leaking and your car breaks down and you break your leg and go to the hospital and have to have an expensive copay all in the same week. Okay, I'm exaggerating, but only slightly. And then an asteroid hits in your backyard. And then, so an emergency fund is for that. It's for unexpected emergencies. There's, of course, lots of finance experts like to sit around on Friday nights having debates over whether it should represent 3 months of living expenses. No, 6 months. No, 9 months. No, I think 8 months. But the point is it should represent some X number of months of your living expenses. 3 is kind of the minimum that most people agree on. So I, don't know what your ordinary monthly living expenses are, but if this $30K in savings that you have is in addition to an emergency fund, then everything that I am about to say following applies. But if it's not, then that's your number one priority. By the way, quick tangent. I was on this call with this guy this one time. I loved this. This is very, very fond memory that I have from a coaching call that I once did. And this guy he was really worried. He was in this, I don't want to say a state of panic, but I could hear the anxiety in his voice. And he was like, I have all this money saved up for a down payment, but I have no emergency fund. What if something goes wrong? And I was like, did it ever occur to you that maybe you have a really big emergency fund, but, not very much saved up for a down payment? And it blew his mind. It was so cool. It was, I don't know if you're as amused by that as I am, but I found that really gratifying because, what that illustrates is that sometimes the labels that we put on things and the frameworks and just the way that it's very common to compartmentalize money and put it in boxes and then get stuck in that way of thinking. That's just a natural human thing. I do that. We all do that. And so it was very gratifying to be able to, with a quick, have you ever tried zooming the lens this way? To be able to just alleviate all of his anxiety in one sentence. That was super cool. Anyway, back to your question. If this $30K in savings is something that you could, functionally your question is, should I repay should I pay down my debt or should I invest? That's basically the question that you're asking. And both of them are really good options. So then the answer really is going to depend on what your goals are, what you want to do. I will say from a purely mathematical perspective, if your goal is to maximize potential returns over the long term, investing money will probably give you a better return over time, according to historic norms. Of course, nothing is guaranteed. Disclaimer, disclaimer. But investing money will probably give you better returns over time than what you would get if you paid off a very low interest rate loan such as a mortgage. Again, you've got what sounds to be a very reasonable mortgage. You've got one rental property that's already paid in full, which is awesome. And you've got another property with a $160,000 mortgage on it. If that mortgage is at like a 3, 4, 5% interest rate, that's already going to be not very much of a monthly bill. And you're offsetting part of that with Airbnb income. I mean, it sounds like that mortgage isn't really a major cloud hanging over your head. So unless you have like emotional or, peace of mind related reasons for wanting to pay off that debt, and if you do, that's totally legitimate. But unless that is a strong motivator for you, I would probably lean more towards investing that money. And it sounds like you're interested in buying another rental. You like your local market, which is awesome. If you like it and you're getting good returns there, if you're finding properties that meet your minimum criteria, then sweet, cool, awesome, more power to you. That is awesome. That's a great position to be in. So I guess I answered your question. I think you're in a really good spot. So congratulations for putting yourself there.
Hey, did you enjoy this excerpt from the Afford Anything podcast? Then click to download our free ebook, Escape. You'll be taken to a page where you can enter your email for immediate access to everything you need to know about escaping the 9-to-5 grind to live life on your terms. And you can also subscribe with one simple click to get alerted when new videos are uploaded.